Welcome to day three, lesson three of the four critical principles to transforming yourself to increase self-worth, etc. So we're getting into the third lesson, and I would say this is a another critical lesson. This is so important. Once you get this really integrated and understand it fully, you will see quite a powerful transformation happen with yourself. And it really goes deep. It goes deep into the roots of who we are. So our brain's survival mechanism. Us humans have a survival mechanism that often causes self-sabotage in our career, personal practices, habit formations, or even the courses we take. Now, there are six main concepts to be aware of. And again, this is something that most people have heard of before. It's common knowledge. But to the degree that we implement it, that we leverage it, that we really get into it, most people don't. Most people read over at once. Oh, I get it. I get it. Fine, gone. Boom. They think they know it, but they don't act. They don't express it through their body. They don't express it through the nervous system. And so once we can really embrace and anchor that into who we are, the knowingness through all levels of who we are, it will be transformative. It is very powerful. So I'm going to read through these. And yes, you already know them, I'm sure, maybe not. Okay. All decisions made by human beings are to avoid pain or gain pleasure. People will do much more to avoid pain than they will to gain pleasure. The perception of pain and pleasure, not the actual pain and pleasure, is the main driving force for people. We primarily focus on immediate pain and we are trying to attain, oh, sorry. Yeah, we primarily focus on avoiding immediate pain and we are trying to attain immediate pleasure. Every decision you make results in at least one or more of the following: short term pain, short term pleasure, or long term pleasure. And of course, emotion trumps logic when thinking of pain and pleasure. Now, common sense, right? I'm sure you've probably heard of this before. Now we're going to get into a little bit more of the nitty gritty aspects. We're going to go a little bit deeper with this. So we will avoid pain or discomfort on the physical level, just like touching a hot stove. Chances are you'll never do it again. Emotional level. So we have a negative emotion, or when someone around us is having an extremely negative emotion, you're just like, ooh, I want to get away from them, I'm going to avoid them. But then there's the mental level. Our definitions, our assumed conclusions, our beliefs. So we can have multiple definitions of the same thing. Let me explain. So our mental definition can be out of sync with our emotional definition. So the mental definition of, let's say work as an example. Work. Everybody, most people work in the world. So great example. So physical. So the mental definition of work, right out of the dictionary: physical or mental effort or activity directed toward the production or accomplishment of something. Pretty simple, right? Now, the emotional definition of work is different for everybody. Some may say, oh, a dreadful job that I hate, but feel forced to do. They're very emotional, right? They have emotional association with their work. Some people are like, oh, I love work. It's so happy and joyous, right? Different for everybody. But here's the thing: emotions trump logic. So it doesn't matter how good our mental definition right out of the dictionary is, our emotions are always going to win. Our emotions trump logic. So it's really important to get in tune with your emotions, understanding your emotions. And don't worry, I will have one last lesson that will explain how to get into more of the understanding of your emotions, how to reframe your emotions through belief structures, etc. So that's something to look forward to that's very exciting. So our emotional definitions of work, they can be so many great things: passionate, joyful, exciting, or stressful or dreadful, addicting, good or bad. So I used to be in the category of stressful and dreadful. I hated work. I hated waking up to my alarm, having to go work. I hated it. But now, after doing a whole bunch of work on myself, I'm quite passionate about it. I'm doing something I actually love. It took me a lot to change my career. get into it, but I did it. And now I'm passionate. I'm excited. There's certain times I'm quite joyful of doing the work I do. And sometimes it can be very addicting. So our emotions can change around our definitions. So I just want to empower you to know that whatever you're feeling right now, you can level it up even more. So setting yourself up for success. What are your definitions of work? Do you find work to be enjoyable? Do you have a smidge of negativity towards working? Because even the tiniest little bit of I have to do this or oh, there's negativity there, it can be enough to make you want to repel away. Our survival mechanism gets triggered in the moment, and we then avoid or procrastinate subjectively with what we are intending to do, right? We move away from pain towards pleasure. So, if there is something that we don't want to do and we don't have enough willpower or emotions, we'll boom, get right in there and we'll procrastinate. We'll go do something else. We'll just avoid it altogether. And so it's really good to get in tune with what is it that I'm avoiding? So you can reframe it. And this is what most people say. Oh, just reframe it instead of I have to. I get to. Woohoo. This is exciting, right? There's a better way. Yes, you can reframe it using those words. I used to do this. I tried to reframe it, but man, again, emotions trump logic. So this is a mental way. I have to instead of I have to, I get to. Yes, it's a mental way, but the emotions are still going to trump it. So, how do you get into the emotional background? You can identify the piece of what you are avoiding. It's isolating the piece of what you're avoiding and find out how to change perspective of that one piece into a pleasurable point of view. And that perspective is going to shift your beliefs, how you interpret the world. It's going to shift your emotions. It's getting into the perspective, how to change perspective. So, this is way more stable and way more powerful than just saying, I get to do this, woohoo, I get to do this. Get into the nitty gritty, isolating the pain, isolating what you're avoiding. Because the main issue with avoidance is that the topic, the circumstance, or its subject entirely of what we are avoiding is a summary of many pieces or parts, usually. So we will avoid the summary of a topic when the pieces or parts are unclear. But once we get, what we're really trying, sorry, let me kind of clarify what I'm saying here. When what we are really trying to avoid or move away from is a piece or part within the summary of what we are avoiding. So the pieces or parts of the summary can be more easily solved when isolated. So, maybe it's like, oh, I really want to go do something, but, there's going to be someone there. And, maybe I have to dress up for it, or maybe I have to do all these different things, but I really want to go there. But I just, there's some pieces, there's some parts that go into the big um, experience. And certain pieces or parts may be not non-enjoyable or it's something you're dreading. Sometimes that's enough to just avoid it altogether. This can happen a lot of the time. I remember going through this a lot. So when we see the entire summary of an experience or something we want to go do, it can be a lot for the mind to handle, becoming sometimes overwhelmed. So we avoid it altogether. Another great example is starting a project, for work. If we look at a massive project and we try to look at it all at once, it can be very overwhelming. But once we break it down into small little parts, all of a sudden, oh, well, that part's easy, that part's easy, that part's easy. All these steps, the stepping stones, step by steps, oh, all of them are super easy. But when you put it all together into a bigger, massive project clump, a summary, it can feel overwhelming. It can feel quite like dreadful. Oh my gosh, I want to avoid it. And sometimes you could isolate all the pieces into step by steps, but then you might find, oh, that's the one piece that I don't want to do. That's what I really don't like. And that's when you could isolate it. And that is where empowerment comes in. So avoidance is directly relatable to self-sabotage. If you're avoiding something, chances are you can self-sabotage. Isolating the pain to solve avoidance more easily. Identify what I was just mentioning. Identify all the pieces or parts of the summary of the topic. And can show up as, a lack of intention. Maybe uh, you may have a lack of intention, not being clear enough. That could actually cause avoidance. A lack of responsibility, like want to do something, but then don't want to take responsibility for it. That can cause some avoidance. Communication, there's so many parts, there's so many pieces. When we go and do something, sometimes there's many different aspects, many different angles. And sometimes it could just be one little piece that's out of alignment that we really don't want to do. So it's really important to isolate the pain. Isolate exactly what you were trying to avoid. Take time to dissect and identify the full spectrum of the avoidance. Really get into the nitty gritty of what you're trying to avoid. This is going to be the most empowering and beneficial tool you could ever use, because this is when you could realize, oh, this is what I have to learn, or this are the skills I have to develop to overcome this thing I don't want to do. Or maybe you could just hire somebody to do it for you, right? And so this is going to be so important that it's going to completely transform the way you do something. You may find that with the clarity of all parts, all of a sudden you solve the avoidance. By identifying all parts and pieces of the summary, you will then know what to work on with mental ease, a small part to process. Here, from here, you can more easily find a solution. It may be as simple as changing perspectives or becoming resourceful and finding information that will teach you the how to action steps, what to write, what to say, what to do, or perform to get the preferred outcome. Now, sometimes like fear is a big thing. Isolate the fear. Get in tune with the fear. Understand what you are actually afraid of. Get super clear with what it is. And once you identify the clarity, even like snakes. Oh, if someone's afraid of snakes, perfect example. Okay, what are they afraid of about snakes? Is it that they crawl on the ground? Is it because they might bite them? Is it because they're wet and slimy? Well, okay, they may bite them. Identifying the aspects. Okay, well, what can you learn about? Okay, well, if you grab a snake, obviously you're in more danger, right? But if you learn a whole bunch and learn, okay, well, how do I protect myself during a snake attack or whatever it is, right? So you could get very clear with what that pain is, and then you could isolate and figure out what the exact thing that you don't like or that you're fearing, and then you could find the solution more easily, and it's way easier to find a solution. And it's kind of like a person that used to be afraid of snakes and is no longer afraid of snakes because they understand why they're afraid of snakes in the first place. And they actually learned some education. Oh, well, most snakes won't actually bite you unless you pick them up and mess with them. Well, just don't do that then. And other areas like, well, we don't have poisonous snakes in this area. So, they may have fear of, watching poisonous snakes on TV. But around here, there is none that are poisonous. So, once we educate ourselves more, we could really clear up a lot of the fears and a lot of the pain, a lot of the avoidance. Okay, so this technique will increase your worth. Find out what small piece to work on and develop yourself. Once you develop yourself, you're already improving your worth. So do not just isolate the pain, isolate the benefits as well. So take time to dissect and identify the full spectrum of the benefits, or what you are wanting to move towards. This will help you get super clear and focused on what you actually want. When the vision and or feeling is easy to access, we can then whip ourselves into grounded alignment quickly. What if we know the vision and feeling, and it is very easy to access, very easy to recall quite instantly? Oh man, you'll be aligned. You'll know what you're moving towards, and it'll be easier and easier and easier to get it done quicker and quicker. You just bounce back. You just bounce back and know what you want. But when our feeling is unclear, the vision is unclear, we don't know the benefits well enough in our mind, it's very difficult to recall. Pain is and the avoidance is always going to win. We do much more to avoid pain than we'll do to gain pleasure. So it's really important to have those benefits right on top of the mind. Have that feeling and a vision right on top of the mind, easy to access, really easy to get into. So you might also find you become more motivated and aligned with ease. It could be that goals are out of alignment and you're manifesting a longer, more difficult process. So when you get super clear of what you want, what you're moving towards, it may be that you're actually finding a longer path when if you just focus on the outcome, the end goal, and you isolate the benefits. What are the benefits of the end goal? You might actually find, oh, there's an easier path to get there. Or, hey, I don't actually need all this stuff that I think I have to get there, or how I could get there. You might be able to eliminate a lot of the process to get to the benefits you're actually seeking. So, get super clear with the pieces or parts that you truly prefer. You might find there are easier arrangements of those parts or benefits. So do not think it has to happen in a certain way either. Because you never truly know how something will happen. Things can come in ways outside of your perspective. I like to say the universe is really magic. It's magical because nowadays with how I am, how much work I've done, I just ask the universe for abundance and abundance shows up for me. It's like people will call me and, I might get a new client or I might get a cool little project to work on. And it just comes out of the blue. And, I can't think of how things are going to come. They just sometimes happen. And that's because I removed a lot of resistance in my life. And now things are just flowing way more quickly. So of course, there's one more lesson. I'll explain it later on, the last lesson. So, setting yourself up for success. The way to succeed is to identify all parts or pieces to what you are avoiding and work on them in small chunks. The avoidance will then diminish. Have the end goal so well set into mind that to feel highly rewarding. So, know your end goal, know your benefits, know the direction you're going. Have it easily recallable. So make every task enjoyable or rewarding as much as you can. Get the benefits locked in, understand the benefits, know what you're moving towards, and isolate all the things that you're avoiding. So give gratitude every time you accomplish something, even the tiniest of tasks. Celebrate your completions every day and emphasize celebration. Affirm with emotions that you love being productive. So doing this, when you celebrate yourself, when you add pleasure to what you are doing, you're telling yourself, hey, I love doing this. And guess what? Your subconscious will move more towards it. Honestly, if you want to create something amazing, celebrate every single process. Celebrate every single little progress, every single little checkpoint. And you'll find that it'll get easier and easier and easier to move into productivity of that project. Hopefully that was clear. So it's best to not treat these four topics as light and fluffy topics. They're not. These four topics, lessons, address the real work needed to get you long lasting, real results. They work. Dive deep with these topics. They are powerful. I always come back to them with all that I know. Once upon a time, Mr. Know It All. Now I don't know anything. I realize I don't know anything. But I've always come back to these simple four topics. They are powerful. They're easy to really comprehend, and they're enough. They are enough to get incredible results just with these four things. So dive deep with these topics. They're powerful. And yes, if you want a simple step-by-step guide through it all, I break these steps down plus a lot more. I do have an offer. I'm not going to get into now, but I do offer way more elaborate step-by-step processes. So it is not in any way easy to give someone information to solve a topic like personal limitation, self sabotage, and self worth in four simple lessons. But I know how powerful these lessons are. They work. So this is not AI created. I just want to be clear with that. This is from years of research, dedication, trial, and error. So I know AI, we're going into a crazy world right now with a lot of AI stuff. This is not AI. I actually made this before AI wave. This was like from 4 years ago. I started to get into this, simplifying things right down into the bare simplicity. So it takes conditioning and finding beliefs and changing beliefs to reprogram the subconscious, not just listening to information. I mean, you can listen to something over and over and over and over again. Sure, it might go in, but the depth, the emotional meaning behind it, the power of the emotions won't be as strong as if you're actually doing the inner work and like changing the beliefs on the deeper level. So our life's nature is a combination of mind, emotion, physical, and spiritual. Be a full human, not just a mental know-it-all. That I mean, society really pushes that as well. Mental education, paperwork. All mental. They really push mental and less emotional. So that is it for this lesson. I have one more treat for everyone, starting, I guess, the next lesson.